they're able to leverage those connections too. I'm going to take some of this real quick. In order to...
Hey guys, it's Jake Corley here with Digital Wildcatters, and today I'm in Austin, Texas to sit down with Scott Craig, partner at the law firm Latham Watkins. Believe it or not, I'm not actually in any legal trouble, thankfully. And today we are super excited to announce Latham Watkins as our official legal partner for Energy Tech Night for the 2023 season. Scott has 17 years of experience as a lawyer and focuses attention on working with emerging technology companies, lots of startups. And a big part of that, being here in Texas, is obviously going to be energy tech. Something that, through my conversations with Scott, that I thought was really cool was that he advised Liquid Frameworks on their exit to Eliminate Capital Partners a little while back. And if you've been to Energy Tech Night before, you might remember that we had Travis Parigi, the co-founder of Liquid Frameworks, at Energy Tech Night to talk about his latest exit. And now he's moved on and really enjoying the next phase of his life. So I thought that was really cool. So we know that Scott is down with energy tech. But the real question is Scott down with hot wings? Scott, thanks for joining me. You agreed to come here, solidify this partnership, eating some ridiculously hot wings, and I'm gonna be tossing you some questions. All right, let's see how hot this is. So Scott, I'm coming out the gate swinging. Why was it important for Latham Watkins to get involved in Energy Tech Night?
I've been a venture capital attorney, startup attorney, helping emerging companies for about 15 years now, a little bit more than that, and joined Latham a year and a half ago from another great law firm. One of the things I realized at Latham was we had this huge energy group. And in Texas, there wasn't a big venture capital emerging company group. And it's really come together, working with the Houston Energy Group, us here in Austin, working with the Venture Capital Group, and finding sort of a niche in energy tech where both of these groups can work together. It's something I don't think a lot of firms have. I can't really think of many firms that are as strong in both areas as Latham is. And it's been a lot of fun. I'm from Houston, so it's been good getting back into the energy capital of the world and doing what I do for companies based here and across the energy spectrum. So yeah, it's been great.
Jalapeno fuego. I'm thinking this is going to be easy too. I'm probably going to be regretting this once we get a few more wings in. So you've advised a lot of emerging tech companies and their boards, as well as both venture capital firms, private equity funds, throughout the life cycle of companies, whether it's the company that's starting up or whether it's a portfolio company. What kind of things can you help with?
I mean, pretty much everything with early companies from just a corporate governance perspective, getting set up. We don't necessarily help find investors, but we help when companies find investors, help them navigate the negotiations. What am I giving up if I'm taking money? But then the other thing we do as a law firm, kind of a full service law firm, is we can help with all the other areas that emerging growth companies need when they're scaling. So you get that funding, now I've got to spend that money. I got to go hire a bunch of employees. Well, do you have your employee handbook and all that set up? I want to grant options. Do you have an equity plan set up? Are you doing it right? So what we can offer as a full service law firm is, whether it's from the beginning incorporating you and helping you just start your company and kind of get the founder relationship put together, but most importantly, helping you scale. If you need to raise money, we're the right firm to basically help you navigate all those obstacles that come with growth. I mean, and growth is great, but when you grow, there's growing pains, and that's what we're there for.
Next, we're gonna dive into the extreme habanero, a little bit hotter, halfway through, but these are also the easy sauces. It gets so much hotter after this. So let's enjoy this one.
All right.
And we're gonna hate our lives after this.
There we go.
Fuck. Scott, startups face countless challenges. Like the challenges I'm facing right now with this wing. What are some of the things that you've seen startup founders often forget to take into consideration?
One thing is equity. You got a lot of people that are helping you set up your company. A lot of promises are made. You got to be really careful with that. I mean, historically, you've seen what happened with Facebook when he tried to start Facebook at Harvard and allegedly promised equity to a lot of different people. A lot of different people thought they were part of that. So if you can button that up really tight early on who owns the company, how we're going to dole out equity to employees and to consultants to help get it up. Maybe not at all, maybe but just have a plan. If you don't, you're gonna have some angry people. You're gonna have some vagueness in the contracts that can create problems for you later on. And the problems raise their head when you're doing really well. And that's the worst time for it to happen. The flip side of that is don't be afraid of dilution. So if you've gotten funded and you think, man, I don't want to be diluted anymore, I want to own a lot of this company, there's things we can do to protect your corporate control. But the mistake we see a lot of people make is they're just afraid to take on more dilution from investors when they really need the money. They want a higher valuation, or they want to own more of the company. And the one thing we always joke about is owning 100% of zero is still zero. Owning 60% of something that's worth a lot is worth a lot of money. So just keep that in mind as you're talking to investors, and don't be afraid of it. I mean, understand what you're doing. You don't want to get duped, but yeah, don't be afraid of it.
I'm so emotional right now. All right, let's just dive into these.
Maybe take a little bit of chocolate milk.
Evil Cowboys sacrifice hot sauce. This doesn't sound fun. Is there any other advice that you could give startup founders?
I mean, be patient. It's not always going to come right when you want it. Understand the down cycles and up cycles of both your industry and just macro, what's going on in the economic environment in general. You might need and want to raise money at a certain time where valuations aren't that high, but if you need the money, you've got to take it. Kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I think the other one is, this is a sort of the selfish plug for me, is talk to your lawyer. I mean, if you're going to do things around your equity table, if you're going to do things like you have to let go of employees, if you want to hire an important executive and they're sophisticated and they know what they want, talk to your lawyers. And we see that a lot where I've had one instance just recently where a client did a really big riff and then called me after it. And so that's tough because there were mistakes, and it's hard to clean up mistakes after they happen. So if you're planning on doing something big, call your lawyer. And maybe it's a real easy answer, but at least you've got that coverage.
Scorpion Disco. I have no clue how hot this one is, but it's number 5 out of the 6.
That one's delayed.
It's like a chili. It's like a Scott. I've been in energy tech for the last decade and can truly say there's never been a better time to be in the energy tech scene. What excites you about energy tech?
Selfishly, being at a law firm that's so strong in energy has really reintroduced me to energy tech as a real platform. And the other thing that's really cool, I think, is we often see, serial entrepreneurs and sort of the Silicon Valley style startup software, which is great. They know it's one type of entrepreneur, but in energy tech, I feel like we're getting operators. Yeah, it's getting me, man. I feel like we're getting operators that have been at a big company for a long time. They've got an idea and they start it, and then they are able to leverage their connections in the energy world. Whether it's upstream oil and gas, downstream stuff. They're able to leverage those connections too. I'm going to take some of this real quick. In order to, help build their companies. And then what we're here for is we know how to help companies grow. It's awesome to be a part of. It's awesome to see kind of the Silicon Valley mentality merge with the Houston and global energy mentality, and try to find a middle ground where we can all sort of speak the same language and do a ton of deals.
Scott, we made it this far, down to the last wing. Let's see what this one's called. This one's called Hellfire Hot Sauce. Fear This, featuring the Carolina Reaper, the world's hottest pepper. I almost died after this last one, so cheers on the wings. Scott, what are some trends that you are seeing in this space, if any at all?
What we're seeing a lot of now is we've got folks that are used to the Silicon Valley style venture capital raises, Series A, B, C, D. On the entrepreneur side, trying to raise money from folks that maybe are more traditional oil and gas investors, but want to get into energy tech. But their return profile, what they're used to investing is different than what your typical venture funds like Andreessen or Sequoia are used to investing in. The risk profile's maybe not as high. Their hit rate has to be a lot higher. And so some of the terms that, one second here. Some of the terms that those more traditional energy investors might ask for are pretty conservative and can create some hesitancy from the entrepreneur, but at the same time, they can add a lot of value as partners because they know the industry. And so, one of the things we do is try to like help both sides get to yes. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not a litigator, I'm a commercial transaction lawyer, and I want to get the deal done. But sometimes that requires us to play like Rosetta Stone, essentially, to help the entrepreneurs understand that like this is not Andreessen. These folks can't invest in 10 companies and only hit on one. And at the same time, explain to the investors that this is not a private equity control deal. You need to understand that the entrepreneur is going to want to control his company after this. And so we see that a lot lately when you talk about trends, where there is that little like piece that's lost in translation once we start negotiating the deal. And again, that's where I think we're really good, because we have folks that are on both sides of this and can kind of help get the people there, because these pairings are great. Like getting these traditional energy investors involved in energy tech is awesome. In a lot of ways adds different and sometimes better value than the traditional venture capital funds.
All right, Scott, are you down for a bonus round?
Sure.
So we've got the original hottest sauce in the universe, Dave's Insanity Sauce. Apparently that's like 2 million Scoville units. I'll put just a little, just a tad.
I'll note I never signed a release for that. Let's see.
All right, down the hatch. Let's do it.
All right. Doesn't even taste like sauce, man. It's just fire.
Thank you for coming to enjoy this.
I think it was fun. Yeah.
And we are so excited. We're so excited to work with Latham Watkins this year for the 2023 season of Energy Tech Night. Thank you for helping making this possible.
Well, thanks for having me. And yeah, we're excited to help sponsor and be partners. Really excited about energy tech generally. And yeah, looking forward to it.
Oh man, this is me conquering my fear.
Yeah, you handled that last one pretty well. What? I was almost on the floor dying the last time I had that sauce.
This is gonna affect me in a few hours probably.